Welcome everybody. This is our regular Wednesday briefing. We've got a number of things on the agenda today. First I want to call Robin Ward from the Alaska Craftsman Home Program to the podium. Robin. We, every week, as you know, this is Energy Month, and we want to give updates on what's going on in the community to promote conservation and good energy practices. And so Robin is going to tell us about what's happening in her group. Good to see you.
Thank you, Mayor. Good to see you.
I don't recognize you here.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor. Yes, it is Energy Awareness Month, and we are a partner in the Alaska Energy Efficiency Partnership. And we are an educational nonprofit teaching homeowners and professionals about energy efficiency. And the very first step of energy awareness is to understand your own home and understand where the energy is being used in your own home. And you can do that by obtaining an energy audit called an energy rating. And homeowners Alaskan homeowners have a great opportunity right now. Alaska Housing Finance Corporation, in their energy rebate program, will reimburse up to $325 of the cost of an energy rating right now in their rebate program, as long as funding is there for it. And right now it looks like they do have plenty of funds for that. So we encourage everyone to first get your energy rating. The energy rating will tell you where you're using energy in your house, whether it's your space heating, heating your hot water, if it's in your lighting and appliances. And then it will provide a menu of improvement options where you can increase the performance. It may tell you to put insulation in your attic or replace your heating appliance. So we'll give you those options on how to improve the energy performance of your home. The rebate program that Alaska Housing has will help reimburse some of the cost of that if you qualify. And Alaska Craftsman Home is providing free classes to homeowners on how to do that, how to perform those energy efficient improvements to lower your heat bill. I think we can all assume that the heating costs in the state of Alaska are not going to go down our fuel costs. So this is a great opportunity for homeowners to take advantage of getting their energy rating, getting reimbursed for a large part of that, and maybe participating in the rebate program, and then coming to the classes, which are free in the evenings here in Anchorage, to learn how to perform those energy option improvements. Thank you.
Very good. And Robin, does your group also recommend contractors who specialize in energy retrofits? Is there a list of people?
We can't actually endorse that, but we can help you learn how to find one and how to research their qualifications so that you know how to choose a good contractor that's going to work.
Very good.
Quick question.
Thank you so much. Question?
If we may. Thank you, Sean Dugan from KTVA.
Yes,
is there a waiting list currently for the energy rating program?
There is. I encourage everyone immediately to get online and get on the list. It is probably still out there, so between 3 and 4 months to be authorized to get your energy rating. So by all means, get on the list as soon as possible so that you can get that opportunity. Yes.
Quick follow-up, if you don't mind. How many people per year generally do you rate?
No, we don't do the energy ratings.
But how many people go through the program?
Right now, they said that they, Alaska Housing, you can check with them to find out, but my understanding is that they're letting out about 125 ratings to energy raters, authorized energy raters. There's about 100 of them statewide each week. So, but that's across the state, remember. Anyone in Alaska can participate.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank you.
And of course, if you really want to get to the top of the list, you do what happened to me in February of 2009, the coldest February on record. My furnace went out, and you immediately move to the top of the list because you're in a no heat situation. And it's not the best way to get to the top of the list, but it certainly was a welcome relief to know that that program was out there when you have no heat and 10 below weather. So now I'd like to welcome to the podium Dana Appleby and Amy Armachain. They're board members for Anchorage's Promise, and they've got a special presentation to make to the municipality of Anchorage, which we're very, very thrilled about. Dana, good to see you. You're everywhere.
I know, try. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. I wanted to Amy and I from Anchorage's Promise wanted to present an award to the mayor and the municipality. This year, we found out this morning, actually at 8 a.m. Alaska time, that we have been awarded the 100 Best Communities Award for the 5th consecutive time. This is a huge honor, as only 22 cities and communities have been awarded this out of several hundred that have been selected since this award has started in 2005. We wanted this award because we are a community that provides the 5 promises, which are making sure the community is caring adults, safe places for our youth, provides healthy starts, effective education, and opportunities for other, and more importantly, that we're here working to increase the graduation rates in our community. So we have this award, Mayor, that we'd like to present to you.
This is awesome.
Get Amy in there. We also have a red ribbon, or excuse me, a red wagon that we'd like to present as well. And this red wagon is something that we use to provide to those leaders that help us support our children and are making sure that they're getting the services and benefits that they need in the community. So
Well, thank you so
very
much. And I see it's got Debbie's card, and Debbie's has moved on from the organization.
She has.
We're gonna miss her.
We are very, very much. She did amazing work for Anchorage's Promise, and I was very sad to see her go, but we're going to continue on with our mission and what we do.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're honored.
Thank you.
We really are.
Thank you.
Really says a lot about our community to get this award 5 years in a row. And as Dana mentioned, only 22 communities in the whole United States can claim that distinction. So we're very proud. Now, last year we got the giant push pin. So, do we get a push pin again? Or
Nope, that's it.
This will go nice next to the push pin.
Right.
Very good. Well, as you know, next month is the Mayor's Education Summit, and we're here to give you a little bit more information about it because we now have our lineup of guest speakers coming, and we are prepared to give you really all the kind of fleshed out details of the summit, who's participating from the community. And as you know, this has been something that's been in the works for many, many months, and we really are just working to see if we can't get ideas from around the country, around the world on how to do anything that we do. Our goal is to try and do it even better. So today we've got Heidi Gentworth with us with Viewpoint Learning. Heidi helped us during our community budget dialogues last year, and they did such a terrific job. We asked them to again help us facilitate the Education Summit. And so Heidi, if you'd like to come to the podium, and you can tell a little bit more about the speakers who will be coming and what they bring in terms of qualifications and ideas that we're looking forward to hearing.
Thank you so much. First, I just want to say how much we appreciate your commitment and the school board's commitment to dialogue and really thoughtful public engagement. And it really just puts Anchorage at the forefront of really new and incredible tools for bringing the public into discussions on these complex and challenging issues. So we are excited to be back. The summit is part of a 3-stage process that's designed to engage leaders and the public in thinking through reforms for creating really a world-class education system in Anchorage. The summit is happening in November, and there are going to be about 100 people participating, and we have 3 panels on the first day, in which we have tremendous speakers coming in from around the country. The first panel is focused on creating a world-class education system, and the 2 speakers on that are going to be Katie Haycock of the Education Trust, who is renowned for her expertise in data and comparative data, understanding how to look at education outcomes across the country and around the world. And Sam Abrams, who's a professor at Columbia, who is really one of the preeminent American experts in the Finnish education system, which has incredible outcomes over many years, and will really look at what it takes to get those outcomes in Finland and what kinds of reforms they've put in place. The second panel, we're talking about the best education for every student. How do you create the best experience for each student? And our 2 panelists there are Dr. Peter Gorman, who was formerly the superintendent in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg School District and is now with News Corp. And as superintendent of a large urban district, he put in place a wide range of reforms that were really quite effective, but became particularly intrigued with the potential for technology to really advance student outcomes. So he's now at News Corp working on technology, both in terms of assessment and curriculum development. And Joe Wilhoft, who's with the Smarter Balanced Assessment Consortium, which is a group looking at assessment of both teachers and of students. And he's also involved in the core curriculum, which is looking at developing curriculum standards for students across the United States. And finally, the last panel will consider alternatives to traditional education. And we've got 3 great speakers lined up. The first is Mike Feinberg, who is the founder of the KIPP charter schools, the Knowledge is Power. And they have many schools. He's based in Houston, and these schools serve primarily low-income minority students, but he's been able to show tremendous improvement in scores and outcomes for these kids. He's also involved in new models for teacher preparation, teacher development. Stuart Butler, who is now the head of the Office of Policy Innovation at the Heritage Foundation, and he's worked on every manner of domestic policy, but really brings a passion and an interest in education reform to the table. And then Patrick Wolf, who's a researcher at the University of Arkansas, who has looked closely at the results of charter and choice programs and what kind of outcomes they bring about, and will able to really balance out some of the discussion about charter choice and other alternatives. That'll happen on the first day, and throughout the day, participants will be engaged in a really lively back and forth with those speakers, looking at how the reforms that they are so knowledgeable about might impact Anchorage, what might be the potential. And the next day, we're going to spend the entire day working to craft a set of scenarios for public consideration that takes into account what those speakers talk about and how the participants weigh the choices and trade-offs there. So come up with a set of very different scenarios that in February the public will consider in a series of community conversations. We'll then come back in June and bring some of the members of the public back with some of those leaders to really talk through the results and identify a really important and significant set of steps that both the public would be willing to support and that people believe would have a significant positive impact on outcomes for every student in Anchorage.
Very good, thank you. Any questions?
Yes. How were the public participants selected?
Well, we tried to go through a process where we looked at who the stakeholders were in public education. Certainly, there's a wide variety of folks from the field of education, from both the school district, from private schools, from the universities. They're the ones obviously dealing directly with students on a day-to-day basis. We also, of course, wanted the involvement of the business community because they're the ones hiring students and want, of course, well-educated people coming into the workforce. And then, of course, we have people from the legislative end of things who can actually, if there's legislation needed, either at the local or state level, we have certainly state representatives, school board members, assembly members, and so from the political action side of things, that representation. And then at the state level as well, people like the Commissioner of Education and others. So really it focused on stakeholders, but we also have student participation and participation from some of the private schools, Sullivan Learning Center, places like that. So it really was, we tried to get a group of 100 people that actually could not only help us make thoughtful choices, but could eventually effect change.
Will these meetings be open to the public?
Well, they will in the sense that we're working on live streaming of the sessions. But in order to really get into good, thoughtful discussion, we capped it at 100 participants along with the guest panelists. You get much larger than that, you really can't get into, I guess, the kind of discussion in small enough groups where you can really have a good exchange and everybody can participate. So that was
I might also add to that that the goal of this first session is to really give the public some really thoughtful and structured choices to work with. That these people will be able to define scenarios that cover a wide range of possibilities that might be possible in Anchorage, and then allow members of the public, and though the community conversations will be open to the general public, and anyone who wants to participate will be able to in those sessions.
Will the first sessions be open to the media?
To observe? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have more questions, but it's not, some other people going to speak.
Well, I think we have our school board president and the superintendent of schools. I was going to invite them to the podium at this time. Clearly, this event could not happen without the participation of the administration and the school board. And Superintendent Como and school board president Gretchen Guess have been just working very closely with us to make this happen. And the podium is yours for any comments and to answer all of Rosemary's questions.
Oh, I can't wait, Rosemary. Well, first of all, I appreciate just skimming through the list that when Cheryl Fresca and I met, 6 weeks ago, we talked through the designated seats that I could select, but also some ideas that I've had working over these many years, working in the community, and I'm really pleased to see so many in there, because I think our interest has been getting a diverse group of participants, that not just diversity in the sense of racial and cultural diversity, but also different perspectives. I think we've got people who are very supportive of all kinds of educational approaches, and I think that's the only way that we're going to have real meaningful push and pull discussion, which I think is the whole purpose of this. And I think from the administration's perspective, I can honestly say that we really do want to listen to people, but we also feel we've got a lot to offer in what we're already doing and what we can do to get better, so we can hit that 90% graduation rate by 2020. So we're looking forward to this active dialogue.
Again, from my perspective, both Carol and I have been working with the administration, and again, when we look over the list, it has a lot of themes and perspectives that we requested. Folks from bridge builders, the folks from the business community, students, including a student from SAVE, which I'm really excited to have different and diverse student input. From the school board's perspective, we're excited about the discussion and the dialogue that's going to happen in the community, and really trying to put some things on the table to have conversations about change and about what do we want to change and what do we want to keep and what can we do differently. So not just the summit in November, but then the ongoing discussions after that, I think, are going to be really helpful to the district. One of the things that we've also been working on with the administration, the mayor's administration, is to have ICER put together a briefing packet. One of the I don't want to say worries, but one of the things that could happen in these situations is that 100 people come together and speakers come together and they don't necessarily know what we're doing now or what our data say now. And so I'm really thankful that we're putting together good briefing packets so people can know what the status quo is. So then we can talk about what do we want to keep doing, what do we want to change in those perspectives. So I think that's going to be very beneficial to the community.
Yeah, it's very helpful that the university, through ICER, stepped up and decided that they would participate in this with a very extensive research project that gives us a baseline of where we're at today. And it really is important because clearly we're doing some marvelous things in the school district, and we don't want the dialogue to start thinking that we're not at a good point. So.
Can I say one more thing?
You bet.
Mr. Abrams, one of the speakers, Cheryl asked me to contact him because he wanted to visit schools, and so I called him up, and we had a delightful conversation, and then he said, but you know what I really want to do is I want to come in a few days early and I want to visit some of your schools, and these are the kinds of schools, so I got that. And he says, what I really like to do is to eat lunch in the lunchroom and talk to students. I said, you really want to eat lunch and talk with students? And yep, he does, so I'm going to be setting him up for the school visits, and one of the places he's going to visit is the King Career Center. So I said, well, I know for sure you can get a top-notch lunch prepared by the Culinary Arts Program, and so we'll see what else comes out at the other schools. But I thought that was great. I mean, he really says that's what he does when he has gone around different communities, that he really finds that engaging with students and really seeing the way the school functions on a regular basis. So I'm looking forward to meeting him.
That's impressive that he would want to come early and do that too. I mean, it shows truly a commitment to participating at a very knowledgeable level.
Mr. Mayor, will you be, you talked about streaming the sessions the first day. Will you also be streaming the discussion and all of that around the scenarios that you will be doing the second day?
Those will be in February. Are we looking to talk to my technical crew?
No, the second day, but you said on the second day of the
Yes.
conference, you'll be discussing the scenarios or putting them together.
The way that the scenario discussion takes place is primarily in small groups. So there's 10 different conversations happening at the same time. So we're not going to be streaming when they're in small groups. It's just impossible to do. So the plenary discussion the first day will be streamed, and then what will happen is we will write up a result of those the discussions on the second day and have that available to everybody for a few weeks.
Will there be a limit on the number of media that can be there?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
No.
What's the cost of the summit, and how's it being paid for?
Well, we're fortunate in that it's now my distinct pleasure to invite to the podium Mr. Dale Pittman from ExxonMobil, who is the platinum sponsor of the summit. We have raised money from the private sector to underwrite the summit, and Exxon stepped up to the plate from day one. They're our top sponsor. So Dale, if you would like to come forward. So 100% underwritten by the private sector.
100%.
I just have one brief comment, and actually it's a thank you. Thank you for the opportunity for the mayor and his staff for the opportunity to participate in such an initiative. You know, support for education, particularly math and science education, is a cornerstone of our community development around the world. So to have the opportunity to integrate the mayor in this initiative and show that commitment. And really, I look forward to working with the superintendent, her staff, the mayor and his staff, really go out there and better enable all those young minds to pass through those doors every day. So really, it's just a thank you. Thank you for the chance.
The thank you is back to you.
Quick question, if you don't mind, sir.
Sure.
Specifically with ExxonMobil, and our microphone's on the podium, so I'd appreciate it if you could go over there. Thank you. We've seen a lot of talk about technical education, and the oil industry in Alaska has talked about the desire to hire more Alaskans. You know, a lot of the 798ers and a lot of the skilled people are down south. Is there something we can do at the high school level, and is Exxon working with any schools, UAA or any schools in the state, to kind of jumpstart that so that you do have those skilled students graduating with the skills they need to learn more and then go to work for your company?
Absolutely. And I'm going to try to be brief, but you do need to start, and you have to start early. We do have several programs that we've been fortunate to work with the superintendent and her staff, but you actually start at the junior high schools. And we have programs, Bernard Harris and his foundation were up to actually help jumpstart that math and science initiative and the interest and motivation in those junior high students. Likewise, in the high schools, we work with the university. There's actually a bridge program to help prepare those young minds as they graduate from high school to get ready for those early years of college. But you know, the key is, if you actually want to enter the technical world, that has to start early. We have so many students who are about to graduate from high school only to find out they really don't have the qualifications to step into that technical curriculum in the universities. So one of our missions in life is to work with initiatives like this to motivate those young minds, to get them steered toward math and science in an earlier age, so that they have all those opportunities still available to them when they graduate from high school.
Specifically, what about technical training, though, like for kids that maybe aren't on a college track? There's a lot of jobs in the oil industry that maybe don't take a college degree, but do take some knowledge of the industry. Is there any program in King Career specifically or in Anchorage for that?
Not just yet. Obviously, we're just entering the state as an operator. We're now working with all those technical institutions, and you do have a great suite of technical universities and institutions and training programs here. So just entering into that, but you're right, it is a key component for all those folks who don't have the opportunity or the desire to go to college.
The superintendent can comment on that as well.
I can't obviously speak about Exxon, other than they brought Bernard Harris here last year, and all the middle schools got to go to West High, and he did an incredible job of motivating hundreds of young people in the middle schools. When he came, he's a former astronaut, and he's a really powerful speaker, and he engaged a lot of our kids. One of the things with the community support, the one bond that passed last spring was for career and technical education, is to retrofit a number of our classrooms at the middle school and the high school level. Along with that, the legislature, the only funding increase we got last year was for career and technical education, and they put it into the foundation formula, so it will be an ongoing increase, a slight amount. And that was through the support of Kevin Meyer and Senator Thomas from Fairbanks, who really led that charge. And what we're seeing is, between the facility changes and a lot of our teachers now gotten training, they've been working with partners, we're seeing a lot more of our career and technical education pathways. And that's what we're looking at, is career pathways that start in middle school with our career guides, and then kids develop a plan that goes with them to high school. And even kids who are college bound, a lot of them really want to look and explore these career pathways. Diamond High School has a marvelous Project Lead the Way pre-engineering program, and Mears, its feeder school, wants to bring that along, and some of this new funding is going to allow it once the legislature broadens it to not just high schools. So I think with what we're doing with our career center, but we're expanding career and tech opportunities in all of our high schools and all of our middle schools to include our alternative programs in some different fashion. The health occupations is the most popular one right now, because that's where a lot of the jobs are. Some people want to be doctors, some want to be nurses, but a lot of the medical technicians, a lot of the other kinds of jobs that are available that they can move forward through their health academy. So we're, I think, making great strides in that whole area.
Thanks. Very good. Well, with that, just open it up to any questions you may have. And if not, thank you all for coming today. Thank you.